right. Welcome to class. As you can see, Miss P is not here. I won't be here today or the next 3 days, but I have videos of what we would normally do in all of our lessons that you'll watch each day. You will follow along in your blue book as we do them and on the whiteboard with a marker, just like we would if Miss P was here and I was really teaching. So just like always for my first period, make sure that you got in rhythm. The sub should have told you that, but make sure that you get in rhythm and then turn in your cell phones. If you didn't turn in your cell phone, make sure to turn in your cell phone. Get your textbooks ready, sharpen your pencil, and then turn in any homework or missing assignments. It would be a great present for when I get back to have all the missing work turned in. All right, so today's objective. I can divide decimal dividends by 2-digit divisors, estimating quotients, reasoning about the placement of the decimal point, and making connections to a written method. So again, we're going to be dividing decimals. We're going to have that 2-digit divisor, that number on the side, and then our dividend, okay? And then our quotient, the number up top, our answer, will also have a decimal in it as well. All right, let's get started. Let me start the timer and see if we can beat the clock. Now I'm still gonna spin the spinner like I normally would if you guys were here. So if I call your number, then make sure to participate and pretend like you would tell me the answer like you normally would. If it's a number that nobody is, then you go ahead and tell me that too. All right, here we go. Number 9, what would 1.2 divided by 6 be? 1.2 divided by 6. Okay, I'm going to pretend like that's 12. That would be 12 tenths, and 12 divided by 6 would be 2, but 2 tenths, so it would be 0.2. Number 10, what's 12 tenths divided by 60? 12 tenths divided by 60. Well, I would split the 60 up into 10 and 6. 12 tenths divided by 10 would make it 12 hundredths, or 0.12, and 0.12 divided by 6 would be 0.02, or 2 hundredths. Let's look at the next one. What would 8.4 divided by 4 be? Number 8. Number 8. Okay, well, 4 can go into 8 2 times. 4 can go into 4 1 time. Put my decimal. My quotient would be 2.1, or 21 tenths. Next one. What would 8.4 divided by 40 be? Number 15. Okay, again, I would split that 40 up into 10 and 4. 8.4 divided by 10 would push the 8 behind the decimal and make it 0.84. And 0.84 divided by 4 would be 21 hundredths, or 0.21. Okay, what's 6 divided by 3? Number 3. Number 3, what would 6 divided by 3 be? Very good, it would be 2. didn't beat the clock, but that's okay. It's probably because Miss P is trying to give y'all a minute to wait in case you're really thinking. All right, everybody get out your conversion chart. You will need a conversion chart. Here we go. Number 17. How many milliliters is in 1 liter? How many milliliters is in 1 liter? 1,000. Very good. Okay, how many inches is in a foot? How many inches is in a foot? Number 13. Inches in a foot. Very good. It would be 12. How many grams is in a kilogram? How many grams is in a kilogram? Number 6. Very good. It would be 1,000. Okay. How many ounces is in a pound? How many ounces is in a pound? Very good. It is 16. Now we're going to get a little bit trickier, but we can do it. How many milliliters is in 0.732 liters? Number 7. Okay, well, I know from what I did up here that 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. So to change my liters to milliliters, I would need to multiply by 1,000. But really, multiplying 1,000 just moves my decimal. And for 1,000, everybody show me with your fingers, how many spots does it move for 1,000? 3. So when we multiply by 1,000, our decimal is going to move 3 spots to the right. When we multiply, the decimal moves to the right, so the number can get bigger. So I'm going to move my decimal 3 spots. 1, 2, 3. It would be 732 milliliters. Next one. How many milliliters are in 37 thousandths of a liter? Number 5. Just like before, I'm going to be using my 1 liter times, it's 1,000 milliliters. So again, I would multiply times 1,000. Everybody show me with your fingers. Multiplying by 1,000 moves the decimal spot 3 places. So I'm going to move my decimal spot 3 places to the right. 1, 2, 3, and it would be 37. How many grams is in 0.537 thousandths kilograms? Number 1. Again, I can use my conversion up here. 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. So I would be multiplying by 1,000 again. And multiplying by 1,000 moves the decimal 3 spots to the right. So I would go 1, 2, 3, and it is 537 grams. Last one. 400 kilograms is how many grams? Number 20. Anybody? Well, again, I'm still going to use that same conversion. 1 kilogram is how many grams? I'm going to be multiplying times 1,000, which means that I'm moving the decimal 3 spots to the right. But I only have 2 spots, so what do? I fill it in with the 0, and it would be 40 grams. 40 grams. Again, y'all probably really beat the clock. Miss P was just pausing to give y'all chances to answer. Now let's practice our division. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and estimate it. So 23 rounds to 20. If I count by 20s, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140. The closest number on my list to 83 and 300s would be 80. I can divide by 10, which crosses out a 0. I'm left with 8 divided by 2, which is 4. Okay. So let's write out our problem. Our dividend is 83 and 300ths. Our divisor is 23. Let's go ahead and start making our list of multiples. So 23, after 23 would be 46. After 46 would be 69. After 69 would be 92. And I'm going to go ahead and pause right there. Okay, 23 can go into 8. 0 times. 8 is too small. 23 can go into 83. 3 times. The closest number on my list is 69 without being too big. Put a 69 on top. Subtract a 69 from the 83. I'm going to change the 8 to a 7. 13 take away 9 is 4. 7 take away 6 is 1. And then I'm going to bring down the 0. How many times can 23 go into 140? Well, I need to add to my multiples list. So what comes after 92? 115. What comes after 115? 138. What comes after 138? 161. So the closest number on my list to 140 without being too big is 138. It is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 number on my list. So I'm going to put a 6 and I'm going to write 130 and subtract. I can't do 0 take away 8, so I borrow. The 4 becomes a 3 and the 0 becomes a 10. 10 take away 8 is 2. Bring down the 3. How many times can 23 go into 23? 1. 23 is on my list. I'm going to write a 1 up top, write a 23, subtract, that is 0. So my quotient would be 3.61 hundredths. If I compare, is 4 close to 3 and 61 hundredths? Yes, it is. Let's go to the next one. 13 would round to 10. If I count by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. So I'm going to round this 6 and 76 hundredths to 60 tenths, or 6.0. Okay, well, if I divide 60 times 10, that would be 6, but I need one number behind the decimal, so my answer would be 6 tenths. Now let's do the real one. I'm going to write my dividend, 6 and 76 hundredths. Write my divisor, 13. Okay, let's go ahead and do our multiples for 13. 13 plus 13 is 26. What comes after 26? 39. What comes after 39? 42. What comes after 42? 55. What comes after 55? 68. Wait, hold on. Miss P messed up. I made a mistake. Because 9 plus 3 is 12, so that would be, all these get bigger by 1. So that's why we got to be careful with our addition. So this would be 52 65, and 78. I'm going to go ahead and pause on my division. So 13 can go into 6 0 times because 6 is too small. How many times can 13 go into 67? 5. The closest number on my list is 65. It's not too big. I'm going to put a 5 in my quotient. Subtract 65. 7 minus 5 is 2. Bring down the 6. How many times can 13 go into 26? 2. There's a 26 on my list. I'm going to put a 2 in the quotient. Subtract 26, and that is 0. So my quotient would be 52 hundredths. Is 52 hundredths close to 6 tenths or 60 hundredths? Yes, it is. Let's do our next one. So 11 would round to 10. If I count by tens, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 12, and 43 hundredths would also round to 10. 10 divided by 10 would be 1. Let's do the real one. I'm going to make my list of 11s. This should be pretty easy for us. 11, next. 22, next. 33, next. 44, next. 55, next. 66, next. 77. I'm going to go ahead and pause right there. 11 can go into 1 0 times. 1 is too small. 11 can go into 12 1 time. I'm going to put a 1 in my quotient and subtract 11. 12 minus 11 would be 1. Bring down the 4. How many times can 11 go into 14? 1. I'm going to put a 1 in my quotient. Subtract 11. 14 minus 11 would be 3. I'm going to bring down my 3. 11 can go into 33. 3. I'm going to put a 3 in my quotient. Subtract 33. That is 0. My answer would be 1 and 13 hundredths. That is close to 1. We didn't beat the clock, but that's okay. Division takes a little bit longer. Okay, so for our application problem today, everybody, even though Miss B is not there, I will be checking your books and your papers. You'll be turning them into me. Get out your blue book and go to page 317. Blue book, page 317. 317. 317. Make sure that your problem looks like mine. It says, Michael has 567 pennies. Jorge has 464 pennies. And Jamie has 661 pennies. If the pennies are shared equally by the 3 boys, and 33 of their classmates, how much money will each classmate receive? I'm going to read it one more time. Michael has 567 pennies. Jorge has 464 pennies. And Jamie has 661 pennies. If the pennies are shared equally by the 3 boys and 33 of their classmates, how much money will each classmate receive? You have 3 minutes. I'm going to start the timer, but if you will pause the video, everybody pause the video, do the problem. Once you're done, unpause the video, and you'll see Miss P's explanation. Hold your partner accountable. Make sure that they pause the video before they just go on. All right, unpause, you're back. So, what kind of picture could I draw for this one? I could draw a strip diagram. Well, how many boxes would I need? I have to do some math to figure out how many boxes I would need, because it says that they're shared equally by 3 boys and 33 of their classmates. So my first step, I would do 33 plus 3, and that is 36. So in my strip diagram, I would have 36 boxes. Okay, now how much goes in each box? That's what I'm trying to figure out, how much each person will get. So that means the other number that I would know would be my total. But to know my total, I have to do some addition first. So I would add up the 567 plus the 464 plus the 661. 7 plus 4 would be 11, plus 1 more would be 12. Carry the 1. 6 plus 1 would be 7. 7 plus 6 would be 13. 13 plus 6 would be 19. Carry the 1. 5 plus 1 would be 6. 6 plus 4 would be 10. 10 plus 6 would be 16. So they have 1,692 pennies. So now, what can I do to figure out how much each person gets? Divide. I would do 1,692 divided by 32. Let's make our list, not 32, 36. Let's make our list of 36. What comes after 36? 72. What comes after 72? 108. What comes after 108? 144. What comes after 144? 180. What comes after 180? 216. We're going to pause our multiples and go ahead and start dividing. 36 can go into 1, 0 times. 36 can go into 16, 0 times. 1 and 16 are too small for 36 to be able to go in. 36 can go into 169. The closest number on my list would be 144. That's not too big. That is the 4th number. I'm going to write 144 and subtract. 9 minus 4 is 5. 6 minus 4 is 2. Bring down the 252. Now I have to keep going with my division. After 216 would be 252. So 252 is on my list. It is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th number. I'm going to write 252. And then I would subtract and get 0. Am I done? No, because I have to write my answer in a complete sentence. So I would say each classmate will receive 47 pennies. Each classmate will receive 47 pennies. All right, now let's move on to our lesson for today. Okay, so for our first problem, for the concept development, we've got a little bit of a word problem, but that's okay, we got this. All right, let me get my spinner back too. It says, in a 77-kilometer relay race, each of 22 team members will run an equal distance, how many kilometers will each team member run? Again, the problem says in a 77 kilometer relay race, each of 22 team members will run an equal distance. How many kilometers will each team member run? Well, let's go ahead and spin our wheel. Number 9. What division expression could I write? What's the division problem I could write? I would write 77 divided by 22. 77 altogether is my dividend. 22, everybody altogether, is my divisor. And everybody altogether, we are trying to figure out our quotient. What picture could I draw? So let's see, number 8. Number 8, what picture could I draw? Very good, I could draw a strip diagram. How many boxes would I have in my strip diagram? Number 1. Very good, I would have 22. I'm going to do my dot, 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 because I don't want to draw 22 boxes. Nobody's got time for that. I have 22 boxes because there's 22 team members. Each box is for a team member. And then where would my 77 go? Number 10. Where would the 77 go, number 10? It would go down at the bottom. Very good, very good. So now I'm trying to figure out how much each team member run or what number goes inside each box. How could I estimate the problem? Number 6. How could I estimate the problem? I would round the 22 to 20. So I round my dividend to 20 for my, I round my divisor to 20. For my dividend, I need to count by multiples of 20. 20, 40, 60, 80. The closest one is 80. I'm going to divide by 10, which crosses out a 0. I'm left with 8 divided by 2, which is 4. So my answer should be about 4. Now you're going to solve the real thing. Miss B is going to give you a couple of minutes to solve. What I would like each of you to do is pause the video. Everybody pause the video, and on your whiteboard with a dry erase marker, if you can't find a marker or a dry erase board, just do it on a piece of paper. I want you to solve the problem, but pause the video and solve it, and then unpause once you're done. Hold your partner accountable. Whoever's next to you, make sure that they pause and actually solve so that we're set up for success for our exit ticket. Welcome back. You should have paused the video. Now you've done the problem and you're coming back to see what you should have done. So here's my 22. Here's my 77. Now let's make our list of multiples. What comes after 22? 44. What comes after 44? 66. What comes after 66? 88. What comes after 88? 110. Let's go ahead and pause our multiples to start dividing. How many times can 22 go into 7? 0 times. 7 is too small, so it can't go into 7. how many times can 22 go into 77? The closest number on my list is 66. That is the third number, so I'd put a 3 in my quotient and subtract 66, and that is 11. Now, am I just going to put 3 remainder 11? No, we are going to be solving this the 5th grade way, which means that I'm going to add a decimal by my dividend, add a decimal by that 77, and then add a 0, because I'm going to make that 11 tenths. So I'm going to bring down the 0. I also need to make sure to add a decimal to my quotient as well. Add a decimal to my answer as well. So how many times can 22 go into 110? 5. So I'd put a 5 in my quotient, write 110, subtract, that would be 0. So the answer would be each team member will run 3.5 kilometers, and I would write that in a complete sentence. Each team member will run 3.5 kilometers. Very good, very good. On to the next one. And we can see that we did get it correct. The next one says, a vial contains 14.7 milliliters. Well, let's talk about that vocabulary word really quickly before we go on. Some of you might be stuck or not know what a vial means. A vial is just a fancy name for a glass container that you could put a liquid in. Okay, so a vial contains 14.7 millimeters of a serum that is then split equally into 21 tiny containers. Okay, well, let's talk about that other word that we see, which is serum. Serum is a fancy word for what would be inside that container, a liquid. A serum is usually a liquid, but it's what would be inside the container. So again, we're reading, a vial contains 14.7 milliliters of serum that is then split equally into 21 tiny containers. How much serum is in each new container? Well, again, what would my division problem be? Number 13. What would my division problem be? Number 13. Very good. It would be 14.7 divided by 21. Everybody all together. 14.7 is my dividend. Everybody all together. 21 is my divisor. Everybody all together. I'm trying to figure out my quotient. What type of picture could I draw for this one? Number 3. What type of picture could I draw? Number 3. A strip diagram. Very good. Very good. How many boxes would I have in my strip diagram? Number 4. How many boxes would I have? Very good, 21. And how much would go in each box? Number 20. How much would go in each box? Very good. I don't know that. That's what I'm trying to figure out. So then where does the 14.7 go? Number 2. Very good. It goes down at the bottom. It is my total. Okay, now let's look at the question. It says before dividing, let's reason about what our quotient might be. Will it be more than 1 in each container or less than 1? I want you to turn and talk to your partner. Think about it for a couple seconds and then turn and talk to your partner. So, if I look at my division problem, what you should notice right away, which is also what I noticed right away, is that 14 is smaller than 21. So I am splitting a smaller number into more groups than what I have in the ones place, which means that my answer would be less than 1 because 14 is smaller than 21. When you're doing your division problem, you will see 21 can't go into 1, it's too small. 21 can't go into 14, it's too small. So I have a 0 and a 0 before the decimal place. So it would be less than 1. Now we're going to solve. You're going to pause the video and solve the problem on your own. Then when you are done, you will unpause and see Miss P solve it. But make sure to pause. We've got to practice so that we're set up for success for that exit ticket. Okay, so let's make our list of 21s. It would be 21, then 42, then 63, then 84, then 105, then 126, then 147, and we can stop right there. So I can see I got 147 on my list, and my number looks like 147. So it is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th number on my list. I'm going to write a 7, and when I subtract, I get 0. So in a complete sentence, I would write my answer. Each container will have 0.7 milliliters of serum. Each container will have 0.7 milliliters of serum. Let's go on to the next one. And we can see that we did get it correct. There's a couple questions down here in the corner for us to answer. Is our actual quotient reasonable? Turn and talk to your partner. Does our answer make sense? Yes, it makes sense because we had a 0 in the ones place just like we talked about before we did the problem. Since 14 is smaller than 21, I know that I'm going to have a 0 in the ones place. So it does make sense that my answer is 0.7. Did we check our work? Miss P did not, but you absolutely could. You could do 21 times 0.7. 1 times 7 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. Placeholder 0. 0 times 1 is 0. 0 times 2 is 0. Add it together. 7 plus 0 is 7. 4 plus 0 is 4. 1 plus 0 is 1. I have one number behind the decimal. So I want one number behind my decimal. And my answer matches my dividend. So I know that I got it correct. All right, next one. You're going to pause the video and everybody is going to solve 21 divided by 22 and 47 hundredths. Okay, we want to be set up for success for our problem set and our exit ticket. So make sure to pause the problem or the video and then actually do the problem, then come back. So pause the video. All right, welcome back. Let's make our list of multiples of 21. So after 21 would be 42. After 42 would be 63. After 63 would be 84. After 84 would be 105. After 105 would be 126. Let's go ahead and pause our division right there. So I would ask myself, how many times can 21 go into 2? 0, because 2 is too small. How many times can 21 go into 22? 1. 21 times 1 is 21. 22 minus 21 would be 1. I'm going to bring down the 4. How many times can 21 go into 14? Well, if I look at my list, is there a number on my list that is smaller than 14? No. So 21 cannot go into 14, so I would put a 0. 14 minus 0 is 14. Bring down the 7. I need to keep going on my list of multiples. After 126 would be 147. How many times can 21 go into 147? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That would be 147. When I subtract, I would get 0. So my quotient would be 1 and 7 hundredths, or 1.07. If I wanted to check my work, I could multiply. 7 times 1 is 7. 1 times 0 is 0. 1 times 1 is 1. Placeholder 0. 2 times 7 is 4. Carry the 1. 2 times 0 is 0. Plus 1 more is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. Add them together. 7 plus 0 is 7. 4 plus 0 is 4. 1 plus 1 is 2. And 2. I have 2 numbers behind my decimal, the 0 and the 7. So I need 2 numbers behind my decimal in the hundredths place. So I got 22.47, which matches my dividend. So I know that I did it correct. All right, next problem. The surface area of a rectangular piece of construction paper, let me kind of move this out of the way. The surface area of a rectangular piece of construction paper is 140 square inches. If the paper's length is 17 inches, what is the width? I'm going to read that one more time. The surface area of a rectangular piece of construction paper is 140.25 square inches. If the paper's length is 17 inches, what is the width? Okay, so number 15. What would be the expression that I would need to solve? Number 15. Very good. It would be 140.25 divided by 17. What type of picture could I draw? Number 14. I would draw a picture of my rectangle. I know the area is 140.25 square inches, and I know that the length is 17 inches. I am trying to figure out the width. Now normally area is equal to length times width. However, I know the area and the length, so I have to work backwards to figure out the width. So I would be dividing. Okay, let's think about what our quotient would be, our estimate. Well, number 5 is going to help me out with that. What would my divisor round to? 20. And number 5, if I count 5 multiples of 20, what would be closest to 140.25? 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120, 140, 160. The closest would be 140. If I divide by 10, that takes away a 0. And 14 divided by 2 would be what, number 5? 7. So my answer should be close to 7. My quotient should be close to 7. We're going to solve the real one. Now I would like you to again pause the video and actually solve the division problem. You will come back once you're done. Again, pausing the video and actually solving them on your own helps set you up for success for your exit ticket and your problem set. Okay, let's do our multiples of 17. So what comes after 17? 34. What comes after 34? 51. What comes after 51? 68. What comes after 68? 85. What comes after 85? 102. What comes after 102? 119. What comes after 119? 136. What comes after 136? 153. Okay, we can stop right there. 17 can go into 1, 0 times, 1 is too small. 17 can go into 14, 0 times, 14 is too small. 17 can go into 140. The closest number on my list is 136. It is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th number. I'm going to put an 8 in my quotient and subtract 136 from the 140. I can't do 0 take away 6, so that becomes a 10. 10 take away 6 is 4. 3 take away 3 is 0. And 0, bring down the 2. How many times can 17 go into 42? 2. I would subtract 34 minus 42. That becomes a 3. That becomes a 12. 12 minus 4 is 8. Bring down my 5. How many times can 17 go into 85? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to put a 5 in my quotient. Subtract 85. 85 minus 85 is 0. So I need to write that complete sentence. The width of the construction paper is 8.25 inches. The width of the construction paper is 8.25 inches. We can see that we did get it correct. Perfect timing. So this is where Miss P leaves you. You will do the problem set, which is page 319, 320, and 321. The date is 11-3-22. So you will do the problem set that is page 319, 320, 321. The date is 11-3-22. You will rip them out and turn them in. You will staple together your problem set and your exit ticket for them to be turned in to the turn-in basket. Make sure that you get the page numbers. You can pause and rip them out. Then you will do your exit ticket, which is page 323 in your blue book. Again, the date is 11-3-22. You will rip it out and turn it in. Again, that is page 323. I'll write the homework and the helper on the board. Okay, so the homework is page 213. I'm sorry, that's the helper is page 213. The homework is page 215. Make sure that you rip out your homework, take it home and do it, turn it in. I will be checking the homework when I get back. So again, make sure you got the problem set. You can go back and look at the pages if you need to. The exit ticket is right there. You're gonna rip them out, turn all of them in, staple them, turn them into the turning basket, and then your homework. The helper is 213. The homework is 215. Make sure to rip them out and turn them in because I will check them whenever I get back. Love you guys, miss you guys. See you tomorrow. Well, see you in a video tomorrow.